Cruella is a 2021 American crime comedy film directed by Craig Gillespie from a screenplay by Dana Fox and Tony McNamara, and a story by Aline Brosh McKenna, Kelly Marcel, and Steve Zissou. 11 produced by Walt Disney Pictures, Mark Platt Productions, and Gun Films. It is based on Dodie Smith's 1956 novel The 101 Dalmatians, 12 serving as a backstory and an alternative origin story for its antagonist, Cruella de Vil. It is also the third live-action adaptation in the 101 Dalmatians franchise. The film stars Emma Stone as the title character, with Emma Thompson, Joel Fry, Paul Walter Hauser, Emily Beecham, Herbie Howell-Baptiste, and Mark Strong in supporting roles. Set in London during the punk rock movement of the 1970s, the film follows Estella Miller, an aspiring fashion designer, as she explores the path that leads her to become a notorious up-and-coming fashion designer known as Cruella de Vil. 13. In 2013, Disney announced the film's development with Andrew Gunn as a producer. Stone was cast in 2016 and also serves as an executive producer on the film alongside Glenn Close, who portrayed Cruella in the previous live-action adaptations, 101 Dalmatians, 1996, and 102 Dalmatians, 2000. Principal photography took place in England between August and November 2019 with a $100 million budget. Cruella premiered in Los Angeles on May 18, 2021, in the first major red carpet event since the COVID-19 pandemic began. It was released in the United States theatrically by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures and simultaneously available on Disney and with its premiere access feature on May 28, to generally positive reviews from critics and grossed over $233 million worldwide. The film earned 2 nominations at the 94th Academy Awards, including Best Makeup and Hairstyling, winning Best Costume Design. It was also nominated in the former category and won in the latter at the 27th Critics' Choice Awards and 75th British Academy Film Awards, while Stone was nominated for Best Actress in a Motion Picture Musical or Comedy at the 79th Golden Globe Awards. A sequel is in development, with Stone set to reprise her role. Plot. This article's plot summary may be too long or excessively detailed. Please help improve it by removing unnecessary details and making it more concise. July 2025, learn how and when to remove this message. In 1964 England, Estella Miller is a creative child with a talent for fashion, but is ostracized for her black and white hair. She develops a nefarious streak, so her mother, Catherine, nicknames her Cruella and encourages her to be nicer. After Estella is expelled from school, Catherine decides to move them to London, stopping at a party at Hellman Hall, a mansion on the Suffolk coast, to ask the host for money. Sneaking inside, Estella loses her mother's necklace while being chased by the host's Dalmatian dogs, which push Catherine off a cliffside balcony to her death. Orphaned, Estella runs away to London and befriends street urchins Jasper and Horace. The three become great friends. Estella practices thievery and grifts with Jasper and Horace, honing her fashion skills by designing their disguises, alongside their dogs, Buddy and Wink. For her birthday in 1977, Jasper gets her a job at the Liberty department store, but Estella is made a janitor and denied the chance to use her talents. She drunkenly redecorates the window display and impresses Baroness von Hellman, a renowned but authoritarian haute couture designer who offers her a coveted job at her fashion house. Estella gains the Baroness' confidence, but notices her wearing Catherine's necklace, which she claims is a family heirloom once stolen by an employee. Estella asks Jasper and Horace to help retrieve it during the Baroness' black and white ball, suspecting that the Baroness is lying. To conceal her identity, Estella creates the alter ego Cruella, letting her natural hair show rather than wearing her usual wig, and wearing one of the Baroness' old designs from a vintage clothing store owned by the flamboyant Artie. At the ball, Cruella steals the spotlight as Jasper and Horace break into the Baroness' vault, but they realize that the Baroness is already wearing the necklace. Jasper improvises and releases rats into the party, allowing the disguised Estella to swipe the necklace. The Baroness summons her Dalmatians with a dog whistle, leading Estella to realize that the Baroness was the one responsible for her mother Catherine's death. In the ensuing chaos, a Dalmatian swallows the necklace. Seeking revenge, Estella orders Jasper and Horace to kidnap the Dalmatians, and recovers the necklace. She then upstages the Baroness at various events in extravagant fashions, gaining notoriety via society columnist Anita Darling, Estella's childhood friend who has agreed to continue writing articles about her. The furious Baroness fires her lawyer, Roger dearly, while Estella's increasingly haughty behavior discomforts Jasper. Estella designs and sews an elaborately beaded dress, secretly disguising moth cocoons as beads, as the signature piece for the Baroness Spring collection. The night of the spring show, the Baroness opens the vault to find that the collection has been destroyed by the moths, and realizes Estella and Cruella are the same person. Having wrecked the Baroness show, Cruella stages her own rock music fashion show outside in Regent's Park, wearing a faux Dalmatian fur coat to trick the Baroness into thinking she had killed her dogs. Returning home, Estella is confronted by the Baroness and her men, who have captured Jasper and Horace. Setting fire to the building, the Baroness leaves a bound Estella to die, and has Jasper and Horace sent to prison for her murder. Estella is saved by John, the Baroness' valet, who reveals that the necklace unlocks a box containing Estella's birth records. The Baroness is her biological mother. She told the Baron von Hellman the baby died, and secretly ordered John to murder the infant Estella so the Baroness could focus on her career and keep her husband's inheritance. The heartbroken Baron died soon after that. Instead, John gave the baby to Catherine, one of the Baroness maids, who raised Estella in secret. Estella breaks Jasper and Horace out of prison and reveals the truth, recruiting them, Artie, and John for her final scheme to expose the Baroness. The quintet sneaks into the Baroness charity gala, having arranged for all the guests to dress in black and white, in honor of Cruella. On the balcony, Estella confronts her mother, who feigns an embrace before pushing her over the cliff, unwittingly witnessed by her guests. Estella secretly survives with a hidden parachute and, now legally dead, adopts her Cruella persona for good. The Baroness is arrested by the Metropolitan Police, swearing revenge on Estella. Before dying, Estella willed her inheritance to Cruella, including the manor which she renames from Hellman Hall to Hell Hall, moving in with her accomplices. Cruella sends Dalmatian puppies to both Anita and Roger. The latter now works as a musician respectively named Perdita and Pongo. Roger is smitten with Pongo, and begins to write a song about Cruella on his piano. Cast: Emma Stone as Estella Miller/Cruella de Vil, an ambitious grifter and aspiring fashion designer, who goes on to become a notorious and dangerous criminal. 1415. Billy Gedston as 5-year-old Estella. Tipper Seifert Cleveland as 12-year-old Estella 16. Emma Thompson as Baroness von Hellman, the narcissistic, authoritarian, and egotistical head of a prestigious London fashion house and a renowned haute couture designer, who is Estella's new boss and eventual rival. She is the biological mother of Estella. Joel Fry as Jasper, a thief who grew up with Estella after her adoptive mother's death. To play Jasper, Fry did not look back at the character's depiction in the original animated film or the 1996 live-action remake, only copying his physical mannerisms. 17. Ziggy Gardner as young Jasper. Paul Walter Hauser as Horace, a thief who grew up with Estella after her adoptive mother's death and Jasper's brother. Hauser drew inspiration for the role from the performance of Bob Hoskins as Mr. Smee in Hook. 17. Joseph MacDonald as young Horace. Emily Beecham as Catherine Miller, Estella's adoptive mother, an impoverished laundrywoman and former maid at Hellman Hall. Kirby Howell Baptiste as Anita Darling, Estella's friend when Estella was a kid, who works as a gossip columnist. 1819. Anita is later gifted a female Dalmatian puppy named Perdita by Cruella. Florisa Camera as young Anita. Mark Strong as John, the Baroness's valet and loyal confidant who aids her in her schemes. John McCree portrays Artie, a member of Cruella's entourage and owner of a vintage fashion shop. He was the first original character in a live-action Disney film to be openly gay, and the character is inspired by David Bowie's Ziggy Stardust and Mark Bolan. 2021. Additionally, Kevin Novak portrays Roger Dearly, a lawyer working for the Baroness, who becomes a songwriter after he is fired, and is subsequently gifted a male Dalmatian puppy named Pongo by Cruella. Jamie Demetriou portrays Gerald, a clerk at Liberty who is Estella's initial boss. Andrew Leung portrays Jeffrey, the Baroness's assistant. Leo Bill portrays the headmaster at Estella's school. Paul Baisley portrays the police commissioner Weston. Ed Birch portrays the Baroness's head of security. Paul Chowdhury portrays a kebab shop owner, while Abraham Popola portrays his co-worker George, and Tom Turner appears as the Baron von Hellman, the Baroness's late husband and Cruella's biological father. Production, development and casting. Craig Gillespie took over as director from Alex Timbers. A live-action Cruella de Vil film, based upon the character in Disney's 101 Dalmatians franchise, was announced in 2013. 22. Andrew Gunn was hired to produce the film, with Glenn Close, who previously played the character in the 1996 live-action adaptation 101 Dalmatians and its sequel 102 Dalmatians, serving as executive producer. 322. And Kelly Marcel revising the script originally written by Aline Brosh McKenna. In January 2016, Emma Stone was cast in the titular role of Cruella de Vil. 14. Costume designer Jenny Bavan later stated that her role on the film was to help Stone appear as a younger 1970s portrayal of Close's 1990s role in 101 Dalmatians, possibly confirming the shared continuity between the films, though the characters of Roger and Anita appear as the same age as Cruella and portrayed as different races with different occupations in this film. 12. However, Stone was not allowed to portray Cruella smoking as she had previously been, since Disney had banned characters being shown smoking in its films since 2007. 23. In August 2016, Jez Butterworth was hired to rewrite the previous draft of the screenplay. 24. In November 2016, it was reported that Disney had hired Alex Timbers to direct the live-action adaptation, with Mark Platt joining the film as a producer. 2. However, in December 2018, it was revealed that Timbers had left the film due to scheduling conflicts and Craig Gillespie would instead direct the film. 25. In May 2019, Emma Thompson joined the cast as the Baroness, described as an antagonist to Cruella who's thought to be pivotal in her transformation to the villain we know today. Nicole Kidman was considered to be the top choice, and Charlize Theron, Julianne Moore, and Demi Moore were also in consideration for the role. 26. While Dev Patel was considered for the role of Roger Dearly. The same month, Tony McNamara and Dana Fox were hired to write the recent version of the screenplay. 27. Joel Fry and Paul Walter Hauser were added in the following months as Jasper and Horace. 28-29. Filming. In August 2019, during the D23 Expo, it was revealed that principal photography for Cruella had already begun. 30. In September 2019, Mark Strong, Emily Beecham and Kirby Howell-Baptiste were added to the cast. 31. 32. 33. Filming wrapped in November 2019. 34. Music and soundtrack. Main article, Cruella, soundtrack. Nicholas Britell composed the film's score. 35. The score album was released on May 21, 2021, by Walt Disney Records. 36. A separate soundtrack album for the film was released on the same day. Both albums feature Call Me Cruella, an original song performed by Florence and the Machine, which appears in the end credits of the film. 37. Release. Theatrical and streaming. Cruella was originally scheduled to be theatrically released on December 23, 2020 38:39, but it was delayed to May 28, 2021. 40. The film received a PG-13 rating from the Motion Picture Association, for some violence and thematic elements, making it the second live-action remake/spin-off of a Disney animated film to receive the rating, following Mulan. 41. On March 23, 2021, it was announced that the film would be released simultaneously on Disney and with premiere access in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. 42 The film premiered at the El Capitan Theater in Los Angeles on May 18, 2021, the first major red carpet premiere since the pandemic began. 43. Tickets for the theatrical screenings went on sale on May 14, 2021, and it was announced that the film would also be screened in Dolby Cinema in select territories. 44-45 It was first screened for critics the same day. 46. Marketing. A prequel novel titled Cruella, Hello, Cruel Heart was published by Disney Publishing Worldwide on April 6, 2021. Written by Maureen Johnson, the novel is set before the events of the movie, in 1967. It followed 16-year-old Estella and her encounter with Magda and Richard Moresby Plum, two wealthy siblings who introduced her to the world of the rich and famous. 47 A tie-in novelization of the film by Elizabeth Rudnick was published by Disney on April 13, 2021. 48 A book titled Cruella's Sketchbook was also released on the same day. 49 A manga adaptation of the movie by Hachi Ishii, titled Cruella, Black, White, and Red was released by Viz Media on August 17, 2021. 50. On May 28, 2021, MAC Cosmetics launched a makeup collection inspired by the film. 51. On May 28, 2021, Disney Plus, in partnership with Social Tailors and Jefferson Arajo, released an AR Effect 52 for Cruella, where users could share stories on Instagram of themselves with makeup and visuals inspired by the film. 53-54. Home media. According to Samba TV, the film was watched on PVOD by about 686,000 American households in its debut weekend, 39% behind Mulan's 1.12 million, resulting in around $20.57 million in revenue for Disney. The company also reported 83,000 UK households watched the film, resulting in $2.35 million, 15,000 in Germany, and 9,000 in Australia. 55 In its first 30 days, the film was watched in an estimated 1.8 million US households, generating a total of $54 million. 8 In January 2022, tech firm Akamai reported that Cruella was the 7th most pirated film of 2021. 56. Cruella was released by Walt Disney Studios Home Entertainment on digital on June 25, 2021, and Ultra HD Blu-ray and DVD on September 21, 2021. In the United Kingdom and Australia, the film was released on home video on August 16 and 18, respectively. 57-58. On August 27, the film was made available for streaming to all customers on Disney+. 59. Reception. Box office. Cruella grossed $86.1 million in the United States and Canada, and $147.4 million in other territories, for a worldwide total of $233.5 million. 9-10. In the United States and Canada, Cruella was released alongside A Quiet Place Part 2, and was projected to gross $17.23 million from 3,892 theaters in its opening weekend, and around $30 million over the 4-day Memorial Day frame. 60 The film made $7.7 million in its first day, including $1.4 million from Thursday night previews. It went on to debut to $21.5 million and a total of $26.5 million over the 4 days, finishing second at the box office. 61% of the tracked audience was female, with 43% being under 25 years old. 61.6 In its sophomore weekend, the film grossed $11 million, finishing third behind The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It and A Quiet Place Part 2. 62-63 The film then fell to 5th place in its third weekend, grossing $6.7 million. 64 Deadline Hollywood wrote that despite having a running total of $71 million through 5 weeks, sources believed that the Disney and Premiere PVOD tier is impacting the PIC's overall revenue, not just at the box office, but but in the movie's downstream ancillary revenues. 65. The film made $26.5 million in its domestic opening and earned $16.1 million in 29 other countries, for a global debut of $43 million. 66. In China, Cruella debuted with a less-than-expected $1.7 million opening, finishing behind holdover F9, which earned $8.9 million. 67. Critical response. The performances of Emma Stone and Emma Thompson were praised by critics. 68-69. On the review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes, 75% of 415 critics have given the film a positive review, with an average rating of 6.8/10. The website's critics' consensus reads, "Cruella can't quite answer the question of why its title character needed an origin story, but this dazzling visual feast is awfully fun to watch whenever its leading ladies lock horns." 70. On Metacritic, the film has a weighted average score of 59 out of 100 based on 56 critic reviews, indicating mixed or average reviews. 71 audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of A on an A and to F scale, while Post-Track reported 84% of audience members gave it a positive score, with 63% saying they would definitely recommend it. 61. Writing for Variety, Peter DeBrugge said, "The director, who brought a wicked edge to pop culture reduxi, Tanya a few years back, has rescued Cruella from the predictability of the earlier 101 Dalmatians remakes and created a stylish new franchise of its own in which a one-time villain has been reborn as the unlikeliest of role models." 4. A.O. Scott of the New York Times called the film easy enough to watch but hard to care much about, complimenting the film's visual style while also finding that the film's main purpose is to remind you that other movies exist. 72. Peter Travers, reviewing the film for ABC News, wrote, "If looks really were everything, Cruella would be flying high on the dazzling costumes that two-time Oscar winner Jenny Bavan has designed for star Emma Stone to swan around in as this iconic villain of page and screen. But looks alone won't cut it when the plot points are so hit and miss." 73-74. Justin Chong of Los Angeles Times remarked the movie as dazzling fun and lauded the performances of Stone and Thompson, of which he described the rivalry of the performances as hard to resist on screen, and hailed Bavan's costume design on the film as one of her best works since Mad Max, Fury Road, while drawing parallels of the film's moral ambiguities and Stone's portrayal of the titular character to her previous performance as Abigail Hill in The Favorite. 75. Alonzo Durold of The Wrap wrote, "Placing these characters in the 60s and 70s allows director Craig Gillespie and screenwriters Dana Fox and Tony McNamara to place the characters into an exciting moment of fashion history. Costumer Jenny Bavan, art director Martin Foley, and production designer Fiona Crombie, and their respective departments, all seem to be enjoying and making the most of the film's period demands." 76. In addition, Durold also lauded the performances of Stone, Hauser, and Thompson, drawing comparisons of the characterizations of the latter's portrayal of the Baroness to Miranda Priestley in The Devil Wears Prada and Reynolds Woodcock in Phantom Thread. 76. Peter Bradshaw of The Guardian awarded the film 4 out of 5 stars, describing it as entertaining and an outrageous punk, as well as praising the performances and dynamic between Stone and Thompson. Furthermore, Bradshaw also complimented the tone of the film's soundtrack to Michael Jackson and similarly praised the film's mid-70s costume and production designs of Bavan and Crombie as top-notch. 77. Chicago Sun-Times' Richard Roper rated the film with 3/4 stars, and highlighted Gillespie's direction for being clever and devilishly offbeat while praising the performances of Stone and Thompson as appropriately over-the-top and wildly entertaining, drawing its comparisons to The Devil Wears Prada, and also commended the costumes, makeup, and the production values of which he referred to as spectacular, dazzling and a visual feast, comparing its style to Phantom Thread and noting the similarities of the vibe and tone of the film's soundtrack to Goodfellas, Kingsman, The Secret Service, and Baby Driver. 78. The Daily Telegraph's Robbie Collins scored the film 4 out of 5, similarly praised the film, which he described as a rollicking tale and an acid-tipped wackiness, and lauded the film for its different approach in the Disney live-action adaptations as well as the previous 101 Dalmatians versions and its interpretation of the central character in a new context. He also similarly praised the performances, particularly Stone and Thompson, as well as the supporting cast, which he referred to as zany, while specifically remarking of Stone's performance of Cruella de Vil as sharp-angled, hyper-expressive, and that Thompson's portrayal of the Baroness stalks the fine line between threatening and ludicrous with stiletto heel precision. In addition, Colin also praised the film's visual style and Bavan's costume design as eyeball-popping and a garden hose blast to the eyeballs of pure sartorial flair and exuberance. 79K Austin Collins of Rolling Stone rated the film with 3 out of 5 stars, praising Stone's success in embodying the titular character, and describing her performance as vampy, stylish, and cruel while comparing the film's style of storytelling to I, Tanya, of which he noted a similar internalized victim-like story perspective of Tanya Harding to Cruella de Vil and even pointed out on the similar plausibly two-sided depiction of Stone's Cruella to Andrea Andy Sachs from The Devil Wears Prada, but with a twisted spin. He also commended the supporting performances, particularly Thompson and Hauser, referring the film as a battle of wits and nits, entertaining, and fun. 80 Jamie Girac from comicbook.com called the film as raising the bar when it comes to their Disney's live-action catalog, praising the art department, the performances, and nostalgic elements. 81 Debopriya from Screen Rant opined that the film told a masterfully nuanced origin and praised the performances of Stone and Hauser. 82 The Hollywood Outsider's Morgan Lanier described the film as taking place in the 70s with a lot of camp to lighten the mood, praising Stone for giving Cruella a twist of vulnerability and giving the long-standing Disney villain a fun glimmer. Lanier also praised Thompson's performance, saying Thompson gives the Baroness the ability to chill a room. Lanier concluded that the movie was joyous, campy, great costumes, amplified by a killer soundtrack. 83 Kate Erbland of IndieWire gave the film a B, and labeling the film as exciting and fun and a colorful, loud, and unexpected look on the origin story of Cruella de Vil, while Erbland singled out the praises on the casting and the performances of Stone, Thompson, Fry, Hauser, and the costumes, but found fault at the film's runtime, of which she referred it as bloated. 84. The Washington Post's Ann Hornaday described the film as tedious, transgressive, chaotic, and inert. While praising the performances of Stone, Thompson, Fry, and Hauser, as well as the costumes, she criticized the film, writing, and the runtime, of which she found it as overstuffed, overlong, and miserably misanthropic. 85 Mick LaSalle of the San Francisco Chronicle thought the film was misbegotten and felt that it favors more on style over substance. Though he praised Thompson's performance, the costume design and the soundtrack, he chided the film's writing as lazy and careless. 86 Matt Zoller Sites of RogeRebert.com gave the film 2/4 stars, and said, "There's no denying that Cruella is stylish and kinetic, with a nasty edge that's unusual for a recent Disney live-action feature. But it's also exhausting, disorganized, and frustratingly inert, considering how hard it works to assure you that it's thrilling and cheeky." 87 Jacobin's Eileen Jones labeled the film as a dopey, uninspired, and tedious mess, specifically criticizing the script as basically rotten and describing the transformation of Cruella's character as the complete mangling of one of the greatest Disney villains of all time. Jones took issue with the absence of the implied critique of Cruella's wealthy entitlement and mad consumer obsession as shown in 101 Dalmatians, and the attempt to make a legendary Dalmatian skinning villain into a scrappy, likable hero. Jones complimented the film's costume design, specifically emphasizing the trash gown shown at the Baroness fashion show, and describing it as sufficiently cool that costume designer Jenny Bavan may win another Oscar. Emily Jean Emma Stone, born November 6, 1988, is an American actress and film producer. Her accolades include 2 Academy Awards, 2 British Academy Film Awards, and 2 Golden Globe Awards. In 2017, she was the world's highest-paid actress and named by Time magazine as one of the 100 most influential people in the world. Stone began acting as a child in a theater production of The Wind in the Willows in 2000. As a teenager, she relocated to Los Angeles and made her television debut in In Search of the New Partridge Family, 2004, a reality show that produced only an unsold pilot. After small television roles, she appeared in a series of well-received comedy films, such as Superbad, 2007, Zombieland, 2009, and Easy A, 2010, which was Stone's first leading role. Following this breakthrough, she starred in the romantic comedy Crazy, Stupid, Love, 2011, and the period drama The Help, 2011, and gained wider recognition as Gwen Stacy in the 2012 superhero film The Amazing Spider-Man and its 2014 sequel. Stone received nominations for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for playing a recovering drug addict in Birdman, 2014, and Abigail Masham in The Favorite, 2018. The latter marked her first of many collaborations with director Yorgos Lanthimos. She won 2 Academy Awards for Best Actress for her roles as an aspiring actress in the romantic musical La La Land, 2016, and a resurrected suicide perpetrator in Lanthimos' comic fantasy Poor Things, 2023. She also portrayed tennis player Billie Jean King in Battle of the Sexes, 2017, and the title role in Cruella, 2021. On television, she starred in the dark comedy miniseries Maniac, 2018, and The Curse, 2023. On Broadway, Stone starred as Sally Bowles in a revival of the musical Cabaret, 2014-2015. She and her husband, Dave McCary, founded the production company Fruit Tree in 2020. Early life. Emily Jean Stone was born on November 6, 1988, in Scottsdale, Arizona, to Jeffrey Charles Stone, the founder and CEO of a general contracting company, and Krista Jean Stone, née Yeager, a homemaker. 1-2 She lived on the grounds of the Camelback Inn Resort from ages 12 to 15. 3-4 She has a younger brother, Spencer. 5 Her paternal grandfather, Konrad Ostbergsten, was from a Swedish family that anglicized their surname to Stone. She also has German, English, Scottish, and Irish ancestry. 6. Valley Youth Theater in Phoenix, Arizona, where Stone appeared in 16 productions. As an infant, Stone had baby colic and cried frequently. She consequently developed nodules and calluses on her vocal cords while she was a child. 7 Stone has described herself as loud and bossy while growing up. 8 She was educated at Sequoia Elementary School and attended Cacopa Middle School for 6th grade. Stone did not like school, though once said that her controlling nature meant that I made sure I got all A's. 9 She suffered panic attacks and anxiety as a child. 10 and said they caused a decline in her social skills. 11 Stone underwent therapy but said it was her participation in local theater plays that helped cure the attacks, recalling, "The first time I had a panic attack I was sitting in my friend's house, and I thought the house was burning down. I called my mom and she brought me home, and for the next 3 years it just would not stop. I would go to the nurse at lunch most days and just wring my hands. I would ask my mom to tell me exactly how the day was going to be, then ask again 30 seconds later. I just needed to know that no one was going to die and nothing was going to change." 10. Stone wanted to act since age 4. She wanted a career in sketch comedy initially, but shifted her focus to musical theater, and took vocal lessons for several years. 12 Her acting debut, at age 11, came in a stage production of The Wind in the Willows, playing Otter. 13 Stone was homeschooled for 2 years, during which time she appeared in 16 productions at Phoenix's Valley Youth Theater including The Princess and the Pea, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. 1 and performed with the theater's improvisational comedy troupe. 14 Around this time, she traveled to Los Angeles and auditioned unsuccessfully for a role on Nickelodeon's All That. 15 Her parents later sent her for private acting lessons with a local acting coach, who had worked at the William Morris Agency in the 1970s. 2. Stone attended Xavier College Preparatory, an all-girl Catholic high school as a freshman, but dropped out after one semester to become an actress. She prepared a PowerPoint presentation for her parents titled Project Hollywood, featuring Madonna's 2003 song Hollywood, to convince them to let her move to California to pursue an acting career. In January 2004, she moved with her mother to an apartment in Los Angeles. She recalled, "I went up for every single show on the Disney Channel and auditioned to play the daughter on every single sitcom," adding, "I ended up getting none." Between auditions for roles, she enrolled in online high school classes and worked part-time at a dog treat bakery. 10. Career beginnings, 2004-2009. When Stone registered for the Screen Actors Guild at age 16, the name Emily Stone was already taken, and she briefly went by Riley Stone. 16 She made her television debut as Lori Partridge on the VH1 talent competition reality show In Search of the New Partridge Family, 2004. The resulting show, retitled The New Partridge Family, 2004, remained an unsold pilot. 17 After guest starring in the television shows Medium, 2005, and Malcolm in the Middle, 2006, she decided to change her stage name to Emma, chosen in honor of Emma Bunton of the Spice Girls, as she struggled to adapt to the name Riley. 1620 She next appeared in Louis C.K.'s HBO series Lucky Louie, 2006, 10 and unsuccessfully auditioned to star as Claire Bennett in the NBC science fiction drama Heroes, 2007, later calling this her rock-bottom experience. In April 2007, she played Violet Trimble in the Fox action drama Drive, but the show was cancelled after 7 episodes. 1. Stone made her feature film debut in Greg Motola's comedy Superbad, 2007, CO starring Michael Cera and Jonah Hill. The film tells the story of 2 high school students who go through a series of comic misadventures after they plan to buy alcohol for a party. To play Hill's romantic interest, she dyed her hair red. 21 Stone has described the experience of acting in her first film as amazing, but very different than other experiences I've had since then. 22 The film was a commercial success, and earned her the Young Hollywood Award for Exciting New Face. 23-24. Stone in 2009. The next year, Stone starred in the comedy The Rocker, 2008, as Amelia Stone, the straight-face bass guitarist in a band. She learned to play the bass for the role. 25 The actress, who has called herself a big smiler and laugher, said she found it difficult to play a character whose personality was so different from her own. The film and her performance received negative reviews from critics and was a commercial failure. 26-27 Her next release, the romantic comedy The House Bunny, performed better at the box office, becoming a moderate commercial success. 28 The film saw her play the president of a sorority, and perform a cover version of the Waitress's 1982 song I Know What Boys Like. 29 Reviews were generally negative 30, but Stone was praised 31, with TV Guide's Ken Fox writing that she is well on her way to becoming a star. 32. Stone appeared in 3 films released in 2009. The first of these was opposite Matthew McConaughey, Jennifer Garner and Michael Douglas in Mark Waters's Ghosts of Girlfriends Past. Loosely based on Charles Dickens's 1843 novella A Christmas Carol, the romantic comedy has her playing a ghost who haunts her former boyfriend. Critical reaction to the film was negative, but it was a modest commercial success. 33-34 Her most financially profitable venture that year was Ruben Fleischer's $102.30 million grossing horror comedy film Zombieland 35, in which she featured alongside Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, and Abigail Breslin. In the film, she appeared as a con artist and survivor of a zombie apocalypse, in a role which Chris Hewitt of Empire magazine thought was somewhat underwritten. 36 In a more positive review, Tim Roby of the Daily Telegraph called the hugely promising Stone a tough cookie who projects the aura of being wiser than her years. 37 Stone's third release in 2009 was Kieran and Michelle Mulroney's Paper Man, a comedy drama which disappointed critics. 38. Rise to Prominence, 2010-2013. Stone voiced an Australian shepherd in Marmaduke, 2010, a comedy from director Tom Day based on Brad Anderson's long-running comic strip of the same name. 39. Her breakthrough came the same year with a starring role in Easy A teen comedy directed by Will Gluck. 41. Partially based on Nathaniel Hawthorne's 1850 novel The Scarlet Letter, the film tells the story of Olive Pendergast, Stone, a high school student who becomes embroiled in a comic sex scandal after a false rumor circulates that she is sexually promiscuous. Stone read the script before the project was optioned for production, and pursued it with her manager while production details were being finalized. She found the script so different and unique from anything I'd read before, calling it funny and sweet. 42. When Stone discovered that the film had begun production, she met with Gluck, expressing her enthusiasm for the project. A few months later, the audition process started and she met again with Gluck, becoming one of the first actresses to audition. 43. The film received positive critical reviews, and Stone's performance was considered its prime asset. 44. Anna Smith of Time Out wrote, "Stone gives a terrific performance, her knowing drawl implying intellect and indifference with underlying warmth." 45. The film was a commercial success, grossing $75 million against its $8 million budget. 46. Stone was nominated for a BAFTA Rising Star Award and a Golden Globe Award for Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy, and won the MTV Movie Award for Best Comedic Performance. 47. Stone promoting The Amazing Spider-Man in 2012. In October 2010, Stone hosted an episode of NBC's sketch comedy Saturday Night Live. Her appearances included a sketch playing off her resemblance to Lindsay Lohan. 48. Stone called it the greatest week of my life. 449. She hosted again in 2011, appeared in an episode in 2014, and in its 40th anniversary special in 2015. 50. A brief appearance in the sex comedy Friends with Benefits, 2011, reunited her with Gluck. 51. She followed this with a supporting role in Glenn Ficarra and John Requa's romantic comedy Crazy, Stupid, Love, 2011, alongside Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling, and Julianne Moore. The film featured her as a law school graduate, and the love interest of Gosling's character. Despite finding some inevitable collapses into convention in the film, Drew McWeeny of Hit Fix wrote that Stone ties the whole film together. 52. At the 2012 Teen Choice Awards, she won the Choice Movie Actress Comedy Award for her performance in the film. 53. Crazy, Stupid, Love was a box office success, grossing $142.9 million worldwide against a production budget of $50 million. 54. Dismayed at being typecast as the sarcastic interest of the guy, Stone co-starred with Viola Davis in Tate Taylor's period drama The Help, 2011, a film she found challenging. 55. The film is based on Catherine Stockett's 2009 novel of the same name and is set in 1960s Jackson, Mississippi. She met with Taylor to express a desire to work on the film. The director said, "Stone was completely awkward and dorky, with her raspy voice, and she sat down and we got a little intoxicated and had a blast, and I just thought, God, this is Skeeter." 56. She was cast as Eugenia Skeeter Felon, an aspiring writer learning about the lives of the African American maids. In preparation for the part, she learned to speak in a Southern accent and educated herself on the civil rights movement through literature and film. 57. With a worldwide gross of $216 million against a $25 million budget, The Help became Stone's highest-grossing film to that point. 58. The film, and her performance, received positive reviews from critics. Writing for Empire, Anna Smith thought Stone was well-meaning and hugely likable despite finding flaws in the character. 59. The film was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Picture 60 and won Best Ensemble Cast from the Women Film Critics Circle and the Broadcast Film Critics Association. 61. 62. Stone turned down a role in the action comedy 21 Jump Street after signing on to Mark Webb's 2012 film The Amazing Spider-Man, a reboot of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man series. 63-64 She portrayed Gwen Stacy, the love interest of the titular superhero, played by Andrew Garfield. 65 Stone returned to her natural blonde hair color for the role, having dyed it red previously. 66-67 She admitted to having never read the comics, and therefore felt responsible to educate herself about Spider-Man. My experience was with the Sam Raimi movies. I always assumed that Mary Jane was his first love. 68 adding that she was only familiar with Stacy's character as portrayed by Bryce Dallas Howard in Spider-Man 3. 69-70 The Amazing Spider-Man was a commercial success and was the 7th highest grossing film of the year with global revenues of $757.9 million. 71 Entertainment Weekly's Lisa Schwartzbaum found Stone to be irresistible. 72 and Ian Freer of Empire was particularly impressed with Stone's and Garfield's performances. 73 At the annual People's Choice Awards ceremony, she was nominated for 3 awards, including Favorite Movie Actress. 74 Later that year, Stone voiced a role in the crime-based video game Sleeping Dogs, which earned her a Spike Video Game Award. 75. Stone began 2013 with a voice role in the DreamWorks animation film The Croods, which was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. 76 This followed with an appearance in Movie 43, an anthology film which consists of 16 short stories. She played the title role in the segment entitled Veronica. 77 She next starred alongside Ryan Gosling and Sean Penn in Ruben Fleischer's Gangster Squad, 2013, a crime thriller set in Los Angeles during the 1940s. 78 A.O. Scott of the New York Times dismissed the film as a hectic jumble of fedoras and zoot suits, but praised Stone's pairing with Gosling. 79. Established actress, 2014-2017. In 2014, Stone reprised the role of Gwen Stacy in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. She believed that her character did not depend on the film's protagonist, asserting, "She saves him more than he saves her. She's incredibly helpful to Spider-Man. He's the muscle, she's the brains." 80 Her performance was well received by critics. 81 An Empire reviewer commended her for standing out in the film, writing, "Stone is the Heath Ledger of this series, doing something unexpected with an easily dismissed supporting character." 82 The role won her the Favorite Movie Actress Award at the 2015 Kids' Choice Awards. 83 Later that year, Stone took on a role in Woody Allen's romantic comedy Magic in the Moonlight, a modest commercial success. 84 A.O. Scott criticized her role, and pairing with Colin Firth, describing it as the kind of pedantic nonsense that is meant to signify superior intellect. 85. The black comedy Birdman, directed by Alejandro González Iñárritu, was Stone's final film release of 2014. CO starring Michael Keaton and Edward Norton, it featured her as Sam Thompson, the recovering addict daughter of actor Regan Thompson, Keaton, who becomes his assistant. Iñárritu created the character based on his experience with his daughter. 86 Birdman was critically acclaimed. 87 and was the most successful film at the 87th Academy Awards. It was nominated for 9 awards, winning 4, including Best Picture. 88 The Movie Network deemed it one of Stone's best performances to date, and Robbie Collin of the Daily Telegraph found her to be superb and tremendous in her role, while also highlighting her monologue in the film, which he believed to have been delivered like a knitting needle to the gut. 89-90 She received Academy, BAFTA, Golden Globe, and SAG Award nominations. 91. Stone at a screening of La La Land, 2016, her performance in the film won her the Academy Award for Best Actress. From November 2014 to February 2015, Stone starred in a revival of the Broadway musical Cabaret as Sally Bowles, taking over the role from Michelle Williams. 92 Deeming it the most nerve-wracking thing ever, Stone listened to a French radio station to mentally prepare herself for the role. 93-94 Marilyn Stasio of Variety was critical of her singing abilities and found her performance to be a bit narrow as an emotional platform, but a smart choice for her acting skills, the perfect fit for her sharp intelligence and kinetic energy. 95 Stone's 2015 film, the romantic comedy Aloha by Cameron Crowe, was a critical and commercial failure. Her portrayal of an Air Force pilot, alongside Bradley Cooper, was panned by critics for its controversial whitewashing of the cast, as Stone's character was meant to be of Asian, Hawaiian, and Swedish descent. She later regretted taking part in the project, acknowledging whitewashing as a widespread problem in Hollywood. 96, 97, 98 Despite the backlash, Stone was nominated for Choice Movie Actress Comedy at the 2015 Teen Choice Awards. 99 Also in 2015, Stone starred opposite Joaquin Phoenix as his character's love interest in Woody Allen's Irrational Man, which received mixed reviews. 84 100 She also appeared in the music video for Will Butler's single Anna. 101 During her run on Cabaret, Stone met filmmaker Damien Chazelle, who, impressed with her performance, cast her in his musical comedy drama La La Land. 102 The project, which marked her third collaboration with Gosling, starred Stone as Mia Dolan, an aspiring actress living in Los Angeles. 103 Stone borrowed several real-life experiences for her character, and in preparation, watched The Umbrellas of Cherbourg and films of Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. 104 105 For the film's soundtrack, she recorded 6 songs. La La Land served as the opening film at the 2016 Venice Film Festival, where it generated critical acclaim and earned Stone the Volpe Cup for Best Actress. 107 It emerged as a commercial success, with a worldwide gross of over $440 million against a production budget of $30 million. 108 Peter Bradshaw of The Guardian wrote that Stone has never been better, superbly smart, witty, vulnerable, her huge doe eyes radiating intelligence even, or especially, when they are filling with tears. 109 For her performance, Stone won the Academy, Golden Globe, SAG, and BAFTA Award for Best Actress. 110 Stone's sole release of 2017 was Battle of the Sexes, based on the 1973 eponymous match between tennis players Billie Jean King, Stone, and Bobby Riggs, Steve Carell. In preparation, Stone met with King, watched old footage and interviews of her, worked with a dialect coach to speak in King's accent, and drank high-calorie protein shakes to gain 15 pounds, 6.8 kilograms. 111 112 The film premiered to positive reviews at the 2017 Toronto International Film Festival, and certain critics considered Stone's performance to be the finest of her career. 113 Benjamin Lee of The Guardian praised her for playing against type, and for being strong and convincing in the part. 114 Even so, the film earned less than its $25 million budget. 115 Stone received her 4th Golden Globe nomination for it, and attended the ceremony with King. 116 Films with Yorgos Lanthimos and Professional Expansion, 2018-present. Stone collaborated with director Yorgos Lanthimos on several projects, such as The Favorite, 2018, and Poor Things, 2023. In 2018, Stone and Rachel Weisz played Abigail Masham and Sarah Churchill, respectively, 2 cousins fighting for the affection of Queen Anne, Olivia Colman, in Yorgos Lanthimos' historical comedy drama The Favorite. She found it challenging to be an American among an all-British cast, and struggled with mastering her character's accent. 117 The film premiered at the 75th Venice International Film Festival to critical acclaim. 118 Michael Nordini of IndieWire praised Stone for taking on such a bold role following the success of La La Land, and termed the 3 lead actresses a majestic triumvirate in a period piece that's as tragic as it is hilarious. 119 Stone then executive produced and starred in the Netflix dark comedy miniseries Maniac, 2018, directed by Cary Hoji Fukunaga. It featured Stone and Jonah Hill as two strangers whose lives are transformed due to a mysterious pharmaceutical trial. An admirer of Fukunaga's work, she agreed to the project without reading the script. 120 Judy Berman of Time magazine was impressed with Stone and Hill for their growth as actors since Superbad and noted the complexity in their performances. 121 Stone received her 5th Golden Globe nomination and 3rd Oscar nomination for The Favorite, and additionally earned SAG nominations for both Maniac and The Favorite. 122 123 124 That same year, Stone appeared in Paul McCartney's music video for his song Who Cares? 125. Stone reprised her role as Wichita in Zombieland, Double Tap, 2019, the sequel to 2009's Zombieland, which received mixed reviews and grossed $125 million worldwide. 126 127 She narrated the Netflix documentary series The Mind, Explained, 2019, and reprised the voice role of Eep in The Croods, A New Age, 2020, the sequel to 2013's The Croods. 128 129 130 In 2021, Stone played Cruella de Vil, originated by Glenn Close in the previous live-action adaptations, in Craig Gillespie's crime comedy Cruella, a Disney live-action based on the 1961 animation 101 Dalmatians. Starring opposite Emma Thompson, Stone also served as an executive producer of the film alongside Close. 131 132 The film was released in U.S. theaters and on Disney and Premier Access to positive reviews and grossed $233 million worldwide against its $100 million budget. 133 134 Justin Chong of Los Angeles Times wrote that despite the film's flawed screenplay, Stone was wholly committed, glammed to the nines. Chong favorably compared it with her performance in The Favorite, adding that she nailed every nuance as another lowly young woman turned ambitious schemer. 135 For Cruella, Stone garnered another Golden Globe nomination. 136. In 2020, Stone and her husband, Dave McCary, launched the production company Fruit Tree. 137 Their first project was the independent film When You Finish Saving the World, which marked Jesse Eisenberg's feature directorial debut. 138 The film premiered at the 2022 Sundance Film Festival, and had modest reviews. 139 140 The company's next release was the comedy Problemista, directed by Julio Torres. 141 It premiered at the 2023 South by Southwest, and was initially scheduled to be released that year, but was delayed due to the 2023 SAG-AFTRA strike. 142 143 Both films were produced in collaboration with A24. 144. Stone at the 2024 New York Film Festival premiere of A Real Pain. Continuing her collaboration with Lanthimos, Stone starred in his short film Bleed, 2022, and feature film Poor Things, 2023. 145 The latter, a fantasy coming-of-age film, is based on the novel of the same name by Alasdair Gray. 146 Stone also produced the film, in which she starred as Bella, a young Victorian woman who is crudely resurrected after her suicide. She found the experience of playing a character liberated of societal pressures to be extremely freeing. 147 And she performed nudity and several sex scenes in it. 148 David Rooney of The Hollywood Reporter wrote that Stone gorges on it in a fearless performance that traces an expansive arc most actors could only dream about, and particularly praised her ability to perform physical comedy. 149 Stephanie Zacharek of Time termed her performance wonderful, vital, exploratory, almost lunar in its perfect oddness. 150 Stone next executive produced and starred in the Showtime satirical comedy series The Curse. 151 She played Whitney, an influencer who hosts an HGTV show with her husband. 152 Commenting on her achievements of the year, BBC Culture's Karen James opined that Stone has quickly moved past Hollywood stardom to claim serious artistic credentials. 153 She received 2 more Golden Globe nominations for Best Actress for her performances in Poor Things and The Curse, winning for the former. 154 155 Also for Poor Things, she won her second Academy Award and BAFTA for Best Actress in addition to a Best Picture nomination. 156 157 The 2024 Sundance Film Festival marked the release of 2 films produced by Stone for Fruit Tree, the horror film I Saw the TV Glow, and Eisenberg's second directorial, A Real Pain. 158 The latter, a comedy drama about 2 mismatched Jewish American cousins, received critical acclaim and several accolades. 159 In her 4th collaboration with Lanthimos, Stone played 3 characters in his absurdist anthology film Kinds of Kindness, which premiered at the 2024 Cannes Film Festival. 160 Mashables Robert Daniels considered it to be the weakest among their collaborations, and labeled her as miscast. 161 In 2025, Stone first appeared in Ari Aster's contemporary Western film Eddington, which premiered at the Cannes Film Festival, and also starred Joaquin Phoenix, Pedro Pascal, and Austin Butler. 162 163 Ben Krall of The Wrap felt that while Stone and Pascal were no doubt game and ready to let loose, their characters aren't given an awful lot to actually do, with both set up less as fully fledged characters than as images for Phoenix to pine for or run against. 164 Stone will next reunite with Lanthimos in Begonia, a remake of the South Korean film Save the Green Planet. 165 Reception and acting style. Stone at the 2011 San Diego Comic-Con. Her hair, eyes, and husky voice have been described by the media as her trademarks. 166 167 Commenting on her performance in The Help, Kirk Honeycutt of The Hollywood Reporter called her one of our very best young actresses. 168 times Daniel Daddario stated in 2015 that Stone appears to have fairly limited options, and choosing roles in independent films by less established directors would represent a substantive risk. 169 Analyzing her on-screen persona, Jessica Kyang of IndieWire noted that Stone usually plays the approachable, down-to-earth, girl next door type, and in person she demonstrates many of those qualities too, along with an absolute refusal to take herself too seriously. 170 Biographer Karen Hollinger wrote that at the beginning of her career, Stone was often labeled a star ingenue, a perceived limitation she escaped despite not being a classically trained actress, as she crafted a brilliant career based on performative skills, careful choice of roles, and distinctive personality. 171 In a 2024 analysis of Stone's career trajectory, IndieWire suggested that from breakout roles to acclaimed performances in indie films, Stone is positioned as a potential new movie star in Hollywood's evolving landscape. 172 In 2008, Stone topped Saturday Night Magazine's Top 20 Rising Stars Under 30 and was included in a similar list compiled by Moviefone. 173 174 Love Film placed her on their list of 2010 Top 20 Actresses Under 30, and her performance in Easy A was included in Time's Top 10 Everything of 2010. 175 176 She appeared in the 2013 Celebrity 100 list, a compilation of the 100 most powerful people in the world, as selected annually by Forbes. The magazine reported that she had earned $16 million from June 2012 to June 2013. 177 That same year, she was ranked first in the magazine's top 10 best value stars. 178 In 2015, Forbes published that she had become one of the world's highest paid actresses with earnings of $6.5 million. 179 The magazine ranked her the world's highest paid actress 2 years later with annual earnings of $26 million. 180 In 2017, she was included on Time's annual list of the 100 most influential people in the world. 181 Stone has been described as a style icon, with her hair, eyes, and husky voice listed as her trademark features. 166-167 Vogue credits the actress for her sophisticated, perfectly put-together looks, writing that her charisma, both on screen and off, has charmed many, and for her embrace of old Hollywood glamour. 182-183 B. Shapiro of the New York Times called Stone a likable, spunky, talented, self-deprecating, and slightly goofy actress who is diverse in her fashion choices. 184 In 2009, she was featured on FHM's 100 Sexiest Women in the World and Maxim's Hot 100 185 186. The latter also placed her on the list on 3 other occasions: 2010, 2011, and 2014. 187 In 2011, she featured on Victoria's Secret's list of What is Sexy, as the sexiest actress. 188 She was mentioned in other media outlet listings that year, including People's 100 Most Beautiful Women, each of FHM's and FHM Australia's 100 Sexiest Women in the World, and Men's Health's 100 Hottest Women. 189 She was ranked 6th on Empire's list of the 100 Sexiest Movie Stars in 2013. 190 Stone was named the Best Dressed Woman of 2012 by Vogue and was included on similar listings by Glamour in 2013 and 2015, and People in 2014. 191-192. Personal life. Stone and Andrew Garfield in 2014. Stone moved from Los Angeles to Greenwich Village, New York, in 2009. 12 In 2016, she moved back to Los Angeles. 10 Despite significant media attention, she refuses to publicly discuss her personal life. Concerned with living a normal life, Stone has said she dislikes receiving paparazzi attention outside her home. 193 She has expressed her fondness for her profession. 10 And has cited Diane Keaton as an acting influence, calling her one of the most covered-up actresses of all time. Stone has a close relationship with her family. 2 She says, "I am blessed with a great family and great people around me that would be able to kick me in the shins if I ever for 1 minute got lost up in the clouds. I've been really lucky in that sense." 185. Stone dated her Paper Man CO star Kieran Culkin for 2 years. In 2011, she started dating her Amazing Spider-Man CO star Andrew Garfield for 4 years. 194-195 Their relationship was reported in the media with various speculations. The pair refused to speak publicly about it, though they made several appearances together. In 2014, on an occasion in New York City, Stone and Garfield encouraged paparazzi to visit websites that spread awareness of causes such as autism. 196 In 2015, they were reported to have broken up. 197-198. Stone met Saturday Night Live segment director Dave Mecary on December 3, 2016, while hosting the show. They began dating the following year. On December 4, 2019, they announced their engagement. They married in a private ceremony in September 2020. 199 In March 2021, Stone gave birth to their daughter named Louise Jean. 200 201 202 As of 2021, the family lives in Austin, Texas. 203 In 2022, Stone sold her house in Malibu, California for $4.425 million. 204 And in 2024, she sold her Los Angeles home for $4 million. 205. Stone has said she suffers from asthma, which she discovered after having difficulty breathing while filming Easy A. 206 Her mother was diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer and cured in 2008. 207 Stone and her mother celebrated by getting tattoos of birds' feet, designed by Paul McCartney, a reference to the Beatles' song Blackbird, which she and her mother love. 208 Stone is a supporter of Planned Parenthood, and attended the 2017 Academy Awards wearing a Planned Parenthood pin on her dress. 209-210. Philanthropy. Stone appeared in a Revlon campaign that promoted breast cancer awareness. 211 In 2011, she appeared in a collaborative video between Star Wars and Stand Up to Cancer to raise funds for cancer research. 212 From 2012 to 2014, she hosted the Entertainment Industry Foundation's Revlon Run/Walk, which helps fight women's cancer. 213. Stone and 3 other celebrities were present at the 2012 Nickelodeon Halo Awards, a TV special that profiled 4 teenagers who are helping and leading others. Halo. 214 She attended the 2014 Earth Hour, a worldwide movement for the planet organized by the Worldwide Fund for Nature. 215 In 2015, she was part of a fundraising event in support of the Motion Picture and Television Fund, which helps people in the film and television industries with limited or no resources. 216 A feminist. 217 She collaborated with 300 women in Hollywood to set up the Time's Up initiative to protect women from sexual harassment and discrimination in 2018. 218. Acting credits and awards. Main articles, list of Emma Stone performances and list of awards and nominations received by Emma Stone. According to the review aggregator site Rotten Tomatoes and the box office site Box Office Mojo, Stone's most critically acclaimed and commercially successful films are Superbad, 2007, Zombieland, 2009, Easy A, 2010, Crazy, Stupid, Love, 2011, The Help, 2011, The Amazing Spider-Man, 2012, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, 2014, Birdman, 2014, La La Land, 2016, Battle of the Sexes, 2017, The Favorite, 2018, Cruella, 2021, and Poor Things, 2023. 219 220. Stone has been recognized by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences for the following: 87th Academy Awards, Best Supporting Actress, nomination, for Birdman, 2014. 89th Academy Awards, Best Actress, win, for La La Land, 2016. 91st Academy Awards, Best Supporting Actress, nomination, for The Favorite, 2018. 96th Academy Awards, Best Actress, win, for Poor Things, 2023. 96th Academy Awards, Best Picture, nomination, for Poor Things, 2023. She has also been nominated for 5 British Academy Film Awards, BAFTA Rising Star Award, Best Supporting Actress for Birdman and The Favorite, and Best Actress in a Leading Role for La La Land and Poor Things, winning for the last 2. 47 91 110 Her other awards include 2 Golden Globe Awards for Best Actress in a Comedy or Musical for La La Land and Poor Things. 110 155 The Screen Actors Guild Award for Outstanding Performance by a Female Actor in a Leading Role and the Volpe Cup for Best Actress at Venice Film Festival, both for La La Land. Dame Emma Thompson, born April 15, 1959, is a British actress and screenwriter. Her work spans over 4 decades of screen and stage, and her accolades include 2 Academy Awards, 3 BAFTA Awards, 2 Golden Globe Awards and a Primetime Emmy Award. In 2018, she was made a Dame, DBE, by Queen Elizabeth II for her contributions to drama. Born to actors Eric Thompson and Phil Littelaw, Thompson was educated at Newnham College, Cambridge, where she became a member of the Footlights troupe, and appeared in the comedy sketch series Al Fresco, 1983-1984. In 1985, she starred in the West End revival of the musical Me and My Girl, which was a breakthrough in her career. In 1987, she came to prominence for her performances in 2 BBC series, Tutti Frutti and Fortunes of War, winning the BAFTA TV Award for Best Actress for her work on both series. In the early 1990s, she often collaborated with then-husband, actor and director Kenneth Branagh, in films such as Henry V, 1989, Dead Again, 1991, and Much Ado About Nothing, 1993. For her performance in the Merchant Ivory period drama Howard's End, 1992, Thompson won the BAFTA Award and the Academy Award for Best Actress. In 1993, she received 2 Academy Award nominations, Best Actress and Best Supporting Actress, for the respective roles of the housekeeper of a grand household in The Remains of the Day and a lawyer in the Name of the Father, becoming one of the few actors to achieve this feat. Thompson wrote and starred in Sense and Sensibility, 1995, for which she won the Academy Award for Best Adapted Screenplay, making her the only person in history to win Oscars for both acting and writing, and once again won the BAFTA. Further critical acclaim came for her roles in Primary Colors, 1998, Love Actually, 2003, Saving Mr. Banks, 2013, Late Night, 2019, and Good Luck to You, Leo Grande, 2022. Other notable film credits include the Harry Potter series, 2004-2011, Nanny McPhee, 2005, which she also wrote, Stranger Than Fiction, 2006, An Education, 2009, Men in Black 3, 2012, and the spin-off Men in Black, International, 2019, Brave, 2012, Beauty and the Beast, 2017, Cruella, 2021, and Matilda the Musical, 2022. Her television credits include Wit, 2001, Angels in America, 2003, The Song of Lunch, 2010, King Lear, 2018, and Years, 2019. She portrayed Mrs. Lovett in a Lincoln Center production of Stephen Sondheim's Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street in 2014. Authorized by the publishers of Beatrix Potter, Thompson has also written 3 Peter Rabbit children's books. Early life and education. Thompson was born in London on April 15, 1959. 3. Her mother is Scottish actress Phil Littelaw, while her English father, Eric Thompson, was an actor best known as the writer of the popular children's television series The Magic Roundabout. 5. Her godfather was the director and writer Ronald Eyre. 7. 8. She has a younger sister, Sophie, who is also an actress. 5. The family lived in the West Hampstead district of London. 6. And Thompson was educated at Camden School for Girls. 9. She spent much time in Scotland during her childhood and often visited Ardentiny, where her grandparents and uncle lived. 10. ADC Theatre, University of Cambridge, where Thompson began performing with footlights. In her youth, Thompson was intrigued by language and literature, a trait she attributes to her father, who shared her love of words. 11. After successfully taking A-levels in English, French, and Latin. 12. And securing a scholarship. 13. She began studying for an English degree at Newnham College, Cambridge. 14. Arriving in 1977. Thompson believes that it was inevitable she would become an actor, remarking that she was surrounded by creative people and I don't think it would ever have gone any other way, really. 8. While there, she had a seminal moment that turned her to feminism and inspired her to take up performing. She explained in a 2007 interview how she discovered the book The Madwoman in the Attic, which is about Victorian female writers and the disguises they took on in order to express what they wanted to express. That completely changed my life. 15. She became a self-professed punk rocker. 16. With short red hair and a motorbike, and aspired to be a comedian like Lily Tomlin. 15. At Cambridge, Thompson was invited into the Cambridge Footlights, the university's prestigious sketch comedy troupe, by its president, Martin Bergman. 17. Becoming its first female member. 18. Also in the troupe were fellow actors Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie, and she had a romantic relationship with the latter. 19. Fry recalled that there was no doubt that Emma was going the distance. Our nickname for her was Emma Talented. 20. In 1980, Thompson served as the vice president of Footlights. 21. And co-directed the troupe's first all-female revue, Woman's Hour. 17. The following year, she and her Footlights team won the Perrier Award at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe for their sketch show The Cellar Tapes. 22. She graduated with upper second-class honors. 23. In the early 80s, Thompson studied clowning under Philippe Gaulier at École Philippe Gaulier. 24, 25, 26. Thompson's father died in 1982, at age 52. 5. She has stated that this tore the family to pieces. 27. And I can't begin to tell you how much I regret his not being around. 28. She added, at the same time, it's possible that were he still alive I might never have had the space or courage to do what I've done. I have a definite feeling of inheriting space and power. 28. Career. Early work and breakthrough, 1980-1989. During Thompson's years studying at Cambridge, she starred in a BBC Radio 4 comedy series called Injury Time, which was recorded and broadcast from 1980 to 1982. 29-30. Thompson had her first professional role in 1982, touring in a stage version of Not the 9 O'Clock News. 4. She then turned to television, where much of her early work came with her Footlights CO stars Hugh Laurie and Stephen Fry. The regional ITV comedy series There's Nothing to Worry About. 1982, was their first outing, followed by the one-off BBC show The Crystal Cube, 1983. 31. There's Nothing to Worry About. Later returned as the network sketch show Al Fresco, 1983-84, which ran for 2 series with Thompson, Fry, Laurie, Ben Elton, and Robbie Coltrane. 431. She later collaborated again with Fry and Laurie on the acclaimed BBC Radio 4 series Saturday Night Ferry, 1988. Early in her career, Thompson collaborated with her first husband, Kenneth Branagh, pictured in 2011. In 1985, Thompson was cast in the West End revival of the musical Me and My Girl, CO starring Robert Lindsay. It provided a breakthrough in her career, as the production earned rave reviews. 432. She played the role of Sally Smith for 15 months, which exhausted her. She later remarked, I thought if I did the fucking Lambeth Walk one more time I was going to fucking throw up. 20. At the end of 1985, she wrote and starred in her own one-off special for Channel 4, Emma Thompson, Up for Grabs. 33. Thompson achieved another breakthrough in 1987 when she had leading roles in 2 television miniseries, Fortunes of War, a World War II drama co-starring Kenneth Branagh, and Tutti Frutti, a dark comedy about a Scottish rock band with Robbie Coltrane. 32. For these performances, Thompson won the British Academy Television Award for Best Actress. 34. The following year, she wrote and starred in her own sketch comedy series for BBC, Thompson, but this was poorly received. 35. In 1989, she and Branagh, with whom she had formed a romantic relationship, starred in a stage revival of Look Back in Anger, directed by Judi Dench and produced by Branagh's Renaissance Theatre Company. 32-36. Later that year, the pair starred in a televised version of the play. 436. Thompson's first cinema appearance came in the romantic comedy The Tall Guy, 1989, the feature film debut from screenwriter Richard Curtis. 32. It starred Jeff Goldblum as a West End actor, and Thompson played the nurse with whom he falls in love. The film was not widely seen. 37. But Thompson's performance was praised in the New York Times, where Karen James called her an exceptionally versatile comic actress. 38. She next turned to Shakespeare, appearing as Princess Catherine in Branagh's screen adaptation of Henry V, 1989. The film was released to great critical acclaim. 39. Howard's End and worldwide recognition, 1990-1993. Thompson and Branagh are considered by American writer and critic James Monaco to have led the British cinematic onslaught in the 1990s. 40. She continued to experiment with Shakespeare in the new decade, appearing with Branagh in his stage productions of A Midsummer Night's Dream and King Lear. 32-36. Reviewing the latter, the Chicago Tribune praised her extraordinary performance of the hobbling, stooped hunchback fool. 41. Thompson returned to cinema in 1991, playing a frivolous aristocrat for An Impromptu with Judy Davis and Hugh Grant. 42. She was nominated for Best Supporting Female at the Independent Spirit Awards. 43. Her second release of 1991 was another pairing with Branagh, who also directed, in the Los Angeles-based noir Dead Again. She played a woman who has forgotten her identity. 44. Early in 1992, Thompson had a guest role in an episode of Cheers as Frasier Crane's first wife. 45. Anthony Hopkins, pictured in 1992, starred with Thompson in Howard's End, 1992, and The Remains of the Day, 1993. A turning point in Thompson's career 32 came when she was cast opposite Anthony Hopkins and Vanessa Redgrave in the Merchant Ivory period drama Howard's End, 1992, based on the novel by E. M. Forster. The film explored the social class system in Edwardian Britain, with Thompson playing an idealistic, intellectual, forward-looking woman who comes into association with a privileged and deeply conservative family. She actively pursued the role by writing to director James Ivory, who agreed to an audition and then gave her the part. 8. According to the critic Vincent Canby, the film allowed Thompson to come into her own, away from Branagh. 46. Upon release, Roger Ebert wrote that she was superb in the central role, quiet, ironic, observant, with steel inside. 47. Howard's End was widely praised. 48. A surprise hit, 49, and received 9 Academy Award nominations. 50. Among its 3 wins was the Best Actress trophy for Thompson, who was also awarded a Golden Globe and BAFTA for her performance. 4. Reflecting on the role, the New York Times wrote that the actress found herself an international success almost overnight. 4. For her next 2 films, Thompson returned to working with Branagh. In Peter's Friends, 1992, the pair starred with Stephen Fry, Hugh Laurie, Imelda Stanton, and Tony Slattery as a group of Cambridge alumni who are reunited 10 years after graduating. The comedy was positively reviewed. 51. And Dessen Howe of The Washington Post wrote that Thompson was its highlight. Even as a rather one-dimensional character, she exudes grace and an adroit sense of comic tragedy. 52. She followed this with Branagh's screen version of Much Ado About Nothing, 1993. The couple starred as Beatrice and Benedict, alongside a cast that also included Denzel Washington, Keanu Reeves, and Michael Keaton. Thompson was widely praised for the on-screen chemistry with Branagh and the natural ease with which she played the role. 53-54 marking another critical success for Thompson. 55 Her performance earned a nomination for Best Female Lead at the Independent Spirit Awards. 43 Thompson reunited with Merchant Ivory and Anthony Hopkins to film The Remains of the Day, 1993, which has been described as a classic and the production team's definitive film. 56-57 Based on Kazuo Ishijiro's novel about a housekeeper and butler in interwar Britain, the story is acclaimed for its study of loneliness and repression, though Thompson was particularly interested in looking at the deformity that servitude inflicts upon people, since her grandmother had worked as a servant and made many sacrifices. 8 She has named the film as one of the greatest experiences of her career, considering it to be a masterpiece of withheld emotion. 58 The Remains of the Day was a critical and commercial success. 56 Receiving 8 Oscar nominations, including Best Picture and a second Best Actress nomination for Thompson. 59 Along with her Best Actress nomination at the 66th Academy Awards, Thompson was also nominated in the Best Supporting Actress category, making her the 8th performer in history to be nominated for 2 Oscars in the same year. 60 It came for her role as the lawyer Gareth Pearson in The Name of the Father, 1993, a drama about the Guildford Four starring Daniel Day-Lewis. The film was her second hit of the year, earning $65 million and critical praise, and was nominated for Best Picture along with The Remains of the Day. 61-62 Sense and Sensibility An Established Actress, 1994-1999. In 1994, Thompson made her Hollywood debut playing a goofy doctor alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito Jr. Although the male pregnancy storyline was poorly received by most critics and flopped at the box office, 63 Mick LaSalle of the San Francisco Chronicle praised the lead trio. 64 She returned to independent cinema for a lead role in Carrington, which studied the platonic relationship between artist Dora Carrington and writer Lytton Strachey, played by Jonathan Pryce. Roger Ebert remarked that Thompson had developed a specialty in unrequited love, 65, and the TV Guide film and video companion commented that her neurasthenic mannerisms, which usually drive us batty, are appropriate here. 66. Efford House in Holbeta, which stood in for Barton Cottage in Sense and Sensibility, 1995. Thompson's Academy success continued with Sense and Sensibility, 1995, generally considered to be the most popular and authentic of the numerous film adaptations of Jane Austen's novels made in the 1990s. 67, 68, 69. Thompson, a lifelong lover of Austen's work, was hired to write the film based on the period sketches in her series Thompson. 70. She spent 5 years developing the screenplay. 71. And took the role of the sister Eleanor Dashwood despite, aged 35, being 16 years older than the literary character. 72. Directed by Ang Lee and Co. starring Kate Winslet, Sense and Sensibility received widespread critical acclaim and ranks among the highest-grossing films of Thompson's career. 73. 74. Shelley Frome remarked that she displayed a great affinity for Jane Austen's style and wit. 75. And Graham Fuller of Sight and Sound saw her as the film's auteur. 76. Thompson received a third nomination for Best Actress and won the award for Best Adapted Screenplay, making her the only person in history to win an Oscar for both acting and screenwriting. 77. She also earned a second BAFTA Award for Best Actress and a Golden Globe Award for Best Screenplay. 4. Thompson was absent from screens in 1996, but returned the following year with Alan Rickman's directorial debut, The Winter Guest. Set over one day in a Scottish seaside village, the drama allowed Thompson and her mother, Phil Littelaw, to play mother and daughter on screen. 78. She then returned to America to appear in an episode of Ellen, and her self-parodying performance received a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Guest Actress in a Comedy Series. 32. 79. For her second Hollywood role, Thompson starred with John Travolta in Mike Nichols's Primary Colors, 1998, playing a couple based on Bill and Hillary Clinton. 80. Thompson's character, Susan, is described as that of an ambitious, long-suffering wife who has to deal with her husband's infidelity. 81. The film was critically well received but lost money at the box office. 82. 83. According to Kevin O'Sullivan of the Daily Mirror, Americans were blown away by her performance and accent, and top Hollywood producers became increasingly interested in casting her. 84. Thompson rejected many of the offers, expressing concerns about living in Los Angeles behind walls with bodyguards, and stated LA is lovely as long as you know you can leave. She also admitted to feeling tired and jaded with the industry at this point, which influenced her decision to leave film for a year. 85. Thompson followed Primary Colors by playing an FBI agent opposite Rickman in the poorly received thriller Judas Kiss, 1998. 86. Continued screen work and further acclaim, 2011. Thompson at the premiere of Nanny McPhee in 2005. When she became a mother in 1999, Thompson made a conscious decision to reduce her workload, and in the following years many of her appearances were in supporting roles. 887. She was not seen on screen again until 2000, with a small part in the British comedy Maybe Baby, which she appeared in as a favor to its director, her friend Ben Elton. 88. For the HBO television film Wit, 2001, however, Thompson took the lead role in what she felt was one of the best scripts to have come out of America. 89. Adapted from Margaret Idson's Pulitzer Prize-winning play, it focuses on a self-sufficient Harvard University professor who finds her values challenged when she is diagnosed with ovarian cancer. Thompson was instrumental in bringing in Mike Nichols to direct the project, and the pair spent months in rehearsal to get the complex character right. 90. She was drawn to the Daredevil role 91, for which she had no qualms about shaving her head. 92. Reviewing the performance, Roger Ebert was touched by the way she struggles with every ounce of her humanity to keep her self-respect, and in 2008 he called it Thompson's finest work. 93. Karen James of the New York Times also described it as one of her most brilliant performances, adding, "We seem to be peering into a soul as embattled as its body." 94 The film earned Thompson nominations at the Golden Globes, Emmys, and Screen Actors Guild Awards. Thompson's only credit of 2002 was a voice role in Disney's Treasure Planet, an adaptation of Treasure Island, where she voiced Captain Amelia. The animation earned far less than its large budget and was considered a box office disaster. 95 This failure was countered the following year by one of Thompson's biggest commercial successes, Richard Kiddis's romantic comedy Love Actually. 74 As part of an ensemble cast that included Liam Neeson, Keira Knightley, and Colin Firth, she played a middle-class wife who discovers her husband, played by Alan Rickman, has been unfaithful to her. The scene in which her stalwart character breaks down was described by one critic as the best crying on screen ever, 8 and in 2013, Thompson mentioned that she gets commended for this role more than any other. 96 She explained, "I've had so much bloody practice at crying in a bedroom than having to go out and be cheerful, gathering up the pieces of my heart and putting them in a drawer." 97 Her performance received a BAFTA nomination for Best Supporting Actress. 98 Thompson continued with supporting roles in the 2003 drama Imagining Argentina, where she played a dissident journalist abducted by the country's 1970s dictatorial regime. Antonio Banderas played the husband who tries to find her, in a film that most critics disliked. 99 The film was booed and jeered at when it was screened at the Venice Film Festival and received a scathing article in The Guardian. 100 Thompson had greater success that year when she worked with HBO for a second time in the acclaimed miniseries Angels in America, 2003. 32 The show, also starring Al Pacino and Meryl Streep, deals with the AIDS epidemic in Reagan-era America. Thompson played 3 roles: a nurse, a homeless woman, and the title role of the Angel of America, and was again nominated for an Emmy Award. 79 In 2004, she played the eccentric divination teacher Sybil Trelawney in the third Harry Potter film, Prisoner of Azkaban, her character described as a hippie chick professor who teaches fortune-telling. 101 She later reprised the role in Order of the Phoenix, 2007, and Deathly Hallows Part 2, 2011, 32 and has described her time working on the popular franchise as great fun. 8. Nanny McPhee. It took 9 years to make that movie. From the moment I picked up the book to the moment we walked into the movie theater, the films were labors of great love and commitment. Thompson on Nanny McPhee and its sequel, which she wrote and starred in. 8. The year 2005 saw the release of a project Thompson had been working on for 9 years. 8. Loosely based on the nurse Matilda stories that she read as a child, Thompson wrote the screenplay for the children's film Nanny McPhee, which centers on a mysterious, unsightly nanny who must discipline a group of children. She also took the lead role, alongside Colin Firth and Angela Lansbury, in what was a highly personal project. 8. 102 The film was a success, taking number 1 at the UK box office and earning $122 million worldwide. 103 104 Commenting on Thompson's screenplay, film critic Claudia Poog wrote that its well-worn storybook features are woven effectively into an appealing tale of youthful empowerment. 105 The following year, Thompson appeared in the surreal American comedy drama Stranger Than Fiction, playing a novelist whose latest character, played by Will Ferrell, is a real person who hears her narration in his head. Reviews for the film were generally favorable. 106 Following a brief, uncredited role in the post-apocalyptic blockbuster I Am Legend, 2007, 107 Thompson played the devoutly Catholic Lady Marchmain in a 2008 film adaptation of Brideshead Revisited. Critics were unenthusiastic about the film 108, but several picked Thompson out as its highlight. 109 110 Mark Kermode said Emma Thompson is to some extent becoming the new Judi Dench, as the person who kind of comes in for 15 minutes and is brilliant. But then when she goes away, the rest of the movie has a real problem living up to the wattage of her presence. 111 Thompson receiving the Crystal Award at the World Economic Forum in 2008. Thompson received further acclaim for her work in the London-based romance Last Chance Harvey, 2008, where she and Dustin Hoffman played a lonely, middle-aged pair who cautiously begin a relationship. Critics praised the chemistry between the two leads, and both received Golden Globe nominations for their performances. 113 Thompson's two 2009 films were both set in 1960s United Kingdom, and in both she made cameo appearances, as a headmistress in the critically praised drama and Education 114 and as a tippling mother in Richard Curtis's The Boat That Rocked. 115. 5 years after the original, Thompson reprised the role of Nanny McPhee with 2010's Nanny McPhee and The Big Bang. Her screenplay transported the story to Britain during World War II. Building on the first film's success, it was another UK box office #1 and the sequel was widely seen as an improvement. 117 the same year, Thompson reunited with Alan Rickman for the BBC television film The Song of Lunch, which focused on two unnamed characters meeting at a restaurant 15 years after ending their relationship. 118 Thompson's performance earned her a 4th Emmy Award nomination. 79. Career expansion in blockbuster films, 2012-present. In 2012, Thompson made a rare appearance in a big-budget Hollywood film 8 when she played the head agent in Men in Black 3, a continuation of the sci-fi comedy franchise starring Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones, and Josh Brolin. With a worldwide gross of $624 million, MIB3 ranks as Thompson's highest-grossing release outside of the Harry Potter films. 74 This mainstream success continued with the Pixar film Brave, in which Thompson voiced Eleanor the Scottish Queen despairing at her daughter's defiance against tradition. 32 It was her second consecutive blockbuster release, and critics were generally kind to the film. 74 119 Also in 2012, Thompson played Queen Elizabeth II in an